Sacrificial garb. Oh man. Dang. That's not good. Maybe it's like the good one. So I think she's still spinning, right? At 3 seconds. There we go. Dang. Okay. I didn't get it. Alright. Totem. Yeah. Okay. It's not bad. A rubby flask. Yes. We got a return. Okay, so now that we've seen some of the gameplay, I'll go over the gear and kind of like my thoughts on it. So overall, it's a pretty good build. As you can see, I use this just as a boss killer, meaning that if I do a Shaper, I'll obviously use this all the way through, but for Chayula, what I do is I take another character like a Wander, a Summoner, Cosprey's Discharger. I'll go through the map, and then at the end, when you come up on the boss portal, I log out and I swap to this character. And same with some other things like Mortal at Zulu and things like that. So I'll talk about the skill tree later. It's kind of set up to be like a glass cannon. As you can see, not a lot of effective HP right here, really low, but it is all set up for the damages. On the to move around, I have a shield charge linked to a faster attacks 2023 and a fortify. Ultimately, I want to fortify with maybe some quality on it, but that's something I'll fix later. And so your main method of movement is you're holding down the left mouse button, and then you just shield charge around like so. Pretty easy. I'm pretty slow right now. You can go faster if you use like a bright beak swap. So for Shaper, when there's a lot of like empty areas that you need to traverse, or any other zone that you want to do a weapon swap, do a bright beak. Do like any kind of shield you want, maybe like a light coast stay or something, so you don't miss, and you can always have fortify, and you will be much faster. That's the movement there. In the helm, I have an Enlighten with Blood Magic and Discipline, and this is because I am low life. So on the tree you see here, I have Pain Attunement. So I was like, okay, well, how can I reserve it? And my options were I could go like a 50% aura, or I could go just like Discipline. And I just went with Discipline. There's other things you can do here. If you want to not take Discipline and go even more damages, then you can do like any other aura you want, but this is what I chose to do. Discipline 21, Blood Magic 21. You don't need a 21 Blood Magic though. This is what I had in my inventory. And then Enlighten level 4, also Enlighten level, you don't need, as you see. If I take out my Enlighten 4, it works perfectly fine. And in the shield, we have Vol Clarity, increased duration. So the strategy is like you charge in, right? And let's say for Shaper, once he's like, everything is irrelevant, you must be reshaped. And so at the end of his sentence, you pop a detonate Mines Totem, and then you pop your Vol Clarity here, and this lasts so long. Like it lasts like pretty much the entire phase. Like it will always last longer than it takes to kill Shaper. And then what you start doing is you just start dropping mines, right? And then the detonate mine totem will be like boo, 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 and it'll like detonate all your mines. You'll be able to continue casting as much as you want, and that will do boatloads of damage. You shouldn't really need, for like guardians and stuff like that, you really shouldn't need more than one Vol Clarity to take them down, unless you die. And even if you die, you have mana flasks and things to help you out there, so it's not that big a deal. But Vol Clarity, huge quality of life in terms of being able to spam the mines. And so I have and also here, Herald of Ash. I used to use Herald of Ice, and Herald of Ash in Path of Building was a little bit more damages, so you can use this. This is like the I guess the min max. You put this in here, and that is just on your mana right here. And something really nice to notice is that with the new patch as of 3.0.1, I think it is, your auras are all persistent. So like you don't need to like cast them all again when you log off, log on when you're done for the night. So that's just a nice little added quality of life, because we do have 3 different auras here. Besides Herald of Ash, we use a Essence Worm for the no mana reserved for the Socketed Gem, and then it's +2 to the Hatred. Hatred is scaling because the base is physical for Glacial Cascade. So What the hatred does is it just takes all the physical damage and gives you some extra cold damage, and the cold damage is skilled once again through your skill tree and your items. And so that adds a ton of damage. Tooltip right now is 102,456, right? If I take off hatred, we're at 80,000, right? If I take off Herald of Ash, we're at 71,000. See, so pretty big deal in terms of the damages, as you can see there. Other than that, we have the main links. So this is like your main skill. I have a Shavs because I don't want to deal with like coruscating elixir. I don't want to use like another ES shield. I just choose to negate, well, not negate, but I choose to deal with chaos damage by wearing a Shavs while going low life. Glacial Cascade is linked to increase crit. If you crit, you have a lot of crit multi. You took alira for the bandit, you're gonna just do a boatload of damage. So you really want to crit if you can. That's why we use a diamond flask later, but we'll go over flasks all at once. Increased crit strikes 2120 if you can get it. That brings it to 2% base instead of 1.9. So nice quality of life there. Minefield right here, it just allows you to get to your maximum number of mines faster. And then with more mines comes more bonuses from Saboteur, which we will talk about later as well. So Minefield I think is pretty necessary. And then Trap and Mine damage support. This is just a more multiplier. Very nice. Nothing needs to be said about that. 2120. Remote mine support, because like Glacial Cascade, if it's not linked to remote mine support, what happens is, you just cast, you just cast your Glacial Cascade. So for this playstyle, and this is a more multiplier as well, you put in the mine and now you set down a mine on the ground, which will detonate. Either you detonate it manually, or you have a cast when damage taken setup, which we'll go over in a second, or you press D, that's the default key. I also have Q as my detonate totem, and your mine will go off and do a lot of damage. Besides remote mine, I have conk effect. So if you look here at the Glacial Cascade, I have 11 mines out. That's pretty decent AoE coverage for conk effect. If you put in ink AoE, you can clear maps a bit faster. But I found that for the bossing aspect, which this character is designed to do, I don't think this is a very good mapper at all compared to the other options out there. You should be using conk effect at all times. No need to swap out for an ink AoE. Okay, unless you really love this build, then you can like put in ink AoE to map. But I think it's okay to leave conk effect in at all times. Now, one thing to note: if you want to be like really try hard and you're looking for like some highlights or something, you can take out this minefield, right? And what you can do is you can put in like some kind of damage gem right here, okay? And then with this, what you'll do is you'll just lay down one mine at a time. See this? And you can have 9 total. And you'll place this like before the Minotaur, Phoenix, Hydra, whatever. And if the first explosion will do a lot more damage, right? But then subsequently, you're not going to get to like the max mines that very fast without minefield. So this is only for initial burst that you take this out if you want to like have a huge EP and like show off to your friends or whatever. I don't think it's necessary. You do enough damage with this, but that's like one option if you truly want to try hard, like out of your mind, right? So that's pretty good. I'm using the Gore Glacial Cascade. I'm sure someone will ask about that. It's just an MTX. That's why my Glacial Cascade mine is red. And other than that, we have, so detonate mines, right? You can detonate it manually. I do this all the time. Like if you're not getting hit or you're just like zooming through and you want to quickly like place a mine and detonate it, that's totally fine. But you're going to find a lot of instances where you want the smoothness of where you put a totem, and the range is pretty good on this thing. So you can like get some good range on that. And then you place your mines, and if there are enemies in range of the totem will detonate that mine for you. So you don't need to press the default key of D to detonate it. So it's super nice quality of life, especially in shaper areas where you kind of want to like pay as little attention as possible. It's just a lot safer. So what it is a spell totem, and then you want detonate mines, and then the minion the minion and totem elemental resistance here, like this isn't really necessary. This is I just put this here so that the totem is a little bit more tanky. I'm sure you could think of something else to put in here. And then the increased duration, so that the spell totem it just sits there a tiny bit longer. See, it just like sits there, and the duration's pretty good already. So like these two right here, increased duration, minion and totem LE resist, like not necessary. I just put them there because I didn't really care what else was in here. If you really wanted to like min max, I think the right way to do it would be to get like maybe insanity gloves and then put your and swap like spell totem, detonate mines, and then one of these into a 3-link on the weapon, and then have insanity gloves with your shield charge, faster attacks, fortify, and the last one might be like culling 23% quality. The level doesn't matter, for a little bit extra attack speed. But that's up to you. I just kind of bought this gear all at once, so it's not like even the best, but it's what I had available. Other than the detonate totem, placing this down whenever you feel unsafe, you have another way to detonate your mines, and that's cast when damage taken. I have it at level 2 just because I accidentally leveled it and I didn't want to like go back and unlevel my frost bomb and temp chains. So you can have it at level 1. I suggest having it at level 1 so that any damage you take will trigger a detonate mine. So basically, imagine you're casting mines here, right? And then some mob comes up to you, or like a guy shoots a projectile at you, hits you. You don't even have to think about it. Your mines are on the ground, will just blow up and shoot, hopefully all at the minion that's gonna booty blast you. And that's a lot of safety, and it helps so much in Shaper Realm and in boss fights where you might need to like drop a mine and then move immediately. You don't even have time to think about detonating, and so this will detonate your mines for you. And then there's a frost bomb. This is just for minus cold resist, and then there's a temp chains. This you can swap out for any other curse you want. I just use temp chains because it just feels okay to me. Now you will probably not even notice this with how fast you kill bosses sometimes. And then once again, detonate mines here. So detonate mines here, and then you have a manual detonate mines. All 3 will come into play when you're playing a miner. Other than that, let's talk about the other gear pieces that I chose. So in the golem, I chose a lightning golem just because it's a little bit faster movement, right? Like I don't have a bright beak swap yet, so I was like, why don't I just get a little bit more attack and cast speed while I'm in Shaper Realm, or in fighting a boss, right? Maybe that little bit of survivability or that little bit of movement will help me survive, but not really necessary. You can go Ice Golem if you want a little bit more crit. You can, if you're the life-based version, maybe you can even go Stone Golem or whatever you want. This does not matter. Amulet, I'm using a rare amulet with multi because this is a crit build. It shores up my resist. It has ES because ES is super low, and I crafted the Elrion ES. It's a real shame you can't craft the Elrion ES onto rings anymore, but this is one place where you can get that increased maximum ES. So nothing too much to see here. Ultimately, you want to find a cheap one with maybe some ES, maybe some craftable Elrion or Elrion already on there, and then maybe some multi if you can get it. Not a big deal. And since I'm not using Abyskos because this guy usually only gets put in for the boss, so like the Abyskos doesn't even affect the boss really, so don't use that. And then as for the shield, I'm using a crit shield, my Glacial Cascade. It is doing crit chance is 54.6 before power charges. So like if I were to pop my diamond flask, let's just say it was 50%, right? If I pop my diamond flask, I would have like 25% chance not to crit. So it's huge already. And with power charges, it's even better. So I wanted as much crit as I could get there, 100% here. And then obviously I just wanted the highest ES I could afford, and then resist to shore things up. The rings, this is an opal ring for just the flat damage. You have a lot of more multipliers going on here, so you want just like the flats. And so here I have cold damage, LE damage, and then I have a little bit of ES, and then once again it's shoring up my resists. And I already talked about the essence worm. The gloves, once the same thing. Highest ES you can get while shoring up your resists. If you got a lot of money to spend, maybe you can do a insanity gloves to go a little bit faster, but this is just what was available to me at the time. Belt, nothing special here. I needed stats, so I got this. I have a little bit of ES on it. It's a crystal belt, which are super cheap now because ES has fallen out of favor, so you can get decent crystal belts for quite cheap, and then you use your Torah to craft some mine damage. 20% is the max roll. You don't really care about the trap damage, and that's about it there. Headhunter does work, but once again, if you're killing bosses, you're not going to have Headhunter buffs, so maybe use Headhunter for mapping. Other than that, Dagger. So it's just spell damage. Implicit is crit. Added to spells is okay, and the tier 1 attack speed is kind of nice because that will affect your shield charge, and then crit chance for spells, and then crit multi. So this is a place where you can get a lot of damages for fairly cheap. You know, like I think under an Exalt, you can get a really nice Dagger these days, because lots of people favor Bright Beaks, lots of people favor other like spell damage Daggers are. I think they're like not as bad as like ES, but they've fallen out of favor a little bit. So these should be super cheap for you. Let's talk about Flasks. Diamond, nothing to see here. This is staunching. You need a staunching because bleeds, for some reason, this just like hurt really badly these days. And so since this lasts a long time, it's an experimenter's diamond, you're never going to die to bleed. And this will make your crit chance out of control. Wise Oak, this is just for a little bit of resist, a little bit of pen. This is actually not what I usually use. This at Zuby's flask is only because I was doing Chayula. And when I go into Chayula, man, Chayula's like whirlwind, her like spears, her chaos barrage does so much damage that I decided to put this in here. I guess there's a little bit of damage as well, but you don't care about the damage. You care about the chaos booty blasting you if you're doing Chayula. And right here, Taste of Hate, nothing more to say here. This is physical damage to cold, and since it'll scale your Glacial Cascade, a very nice flask to have. And then right here you have a freeze and chill immune mana flask. Okay, just skinned with Deirdre's, but this is I'd say it's necessary to have a mana flask these days. I don't like La Vianja's. I like this one because it has a suffix and because it's like a nice like 1,100 over 6.7 seconds. It feels nice. It's not gonna allow you to spam your mines as fast as you can spam them, but it will do the job when you don't have what's it called, vol clarity up. So decent flask. And that's about it. You just smash everything, you put down a bunch of mines, and then you blow them up. Another huge thing right now, as you see, if I click right here, so my mine is on my right click. If I right click right here where my mouse is, my character walks over, places the mine, then I can detonate it. So you don't want to do that. That's extremely deadly in every single situation. There's no situation where you would want that to be the case. So what you do is you do what's called the number lock trick. Most of you guys already know this, but that is you assign your not this one, this one. Attack in place, assign it to like any number key you want, right? I'm just used to assigning 9. And then what you do is you hold down the number key you just assigned, and then you hit numlock, turn off numlock, and then let go of the, what's it called? And then let go of the number pad key that you assigned. And now watch this. My mouse is over here, right? If I right click here again, I cast my mine immediately. It doesn't matter where I click. See, right here, right here, right here. Boom. It does not matter. So it's super nice when when you're shield charging around, right? You're probably not going to have your mouse right on your character. So it's nice to like shield charge, place the mine, and then you get to detonate it. So it helps you. It'll save your life a lot. Whenever you forget to do the numlock trick, you're going to notice it. You're going to notice a lot of danger to your character in all instances. So that's about it. Let's talk about the skill tree and gems. Skill tree, low life, which means that I chose ES as my defense. And so you just get all the ES you can. I got Arcane Focus here. I got a little bit of Written in Blood here. I got the what else did I get? Oh, I got the Foresight right here. And that's about it. Nullification, ES, and a little bit of Resists. Other than that, the damage nodes are pretty standard. You get all the multi, you get the easy crit that you can, you get power charges where you can, you get jewel sockets where you can. And then you're looking for stuff with mines, right? Like this is huge right here. Traps cannot be damaged for 5 seconds. I'm sorry, mines cannot be damaged for 5 seconds after being placed. So this is like 5 seconds is a really long time. You're not gonna like have your mines get killed before they're able to go off. So this just provides you a safety. You'll always know that your output is there. And then this is penetration, so a little bit of damage is there. So really nice wheel. This is 100% mandatory. And I have other things that aren't so mandatory. For example, like destructive apparatus, and what else do I have? That this is necessary too. Detonating mines instant. This is extremely necessary. Actually, this is just the option right here. Yeah. So this one is like not necessary if you don't have the skill points. I have crit here, some damages here. Mind over matter. Now you might be wondering, like, hey, you don't have that much mana, right? Look, I have like 950. This isn't like for the defensives. I guess it could be, but it's just for the mana. Mines take a whole lot of mana. If you're spamming these, 135 mana. So look at this. You see how fast the mana goes down? And look, I hit my mana flask, right? And look how fast the mana gets depleted. So you want a bigger base. You don't have to. Some people, if you are smart with your vol clarity and you're really paying attention, like you don't need any of this. You can put this into like damages, survivability, whatever. But I just like a big mana pool. Other than that, you have your AoEs. You have your AoEs here, jewel sockets. You're looking for ES if you can get it. That's, I think, is most important. And then you're looking for quality of life is mine laying speed. You'll definitely notice that. And spell damage while holding a shield, generic damage, area damage, all these kinds of damages that will affect your Glacial Cascade. You can do a count 2 or 3 after you've gotten like your mine laying speed and your your ES and then your possible mine laying speed. And also physical damage also affects it too, because the base always scales. See, so I've increased physical damage, 8% ES, and area damage. This jewel, there's mine damage, spell damage, multi-area damage. So that's a quad damage jewel. Right here, there's like multi-area damage, physical damage. So it's I went full damages here. The 8%, 7 or 8% ES jewels were kind of hard to find when I was buying them. Maybe they're more abundant now, but it's just what I could get at the time. You can also, if for a budget, let's say you do a count 4 of 4 mods out of like the many mine mods that you could get, and you can't find any, or it's too expensive. You can do a budget option by placing in attack speed for mobility. So you can do attack speed with dagers if you're using a bright beak, attack speed with maces, attack speed with one-handed weapons, generic attack speed, attack and cast speed, attack speed while holding a shield. You can put these in there to make your gems unbelievably cheap, right? Because like people don't equate usually like physical damage, spell damage, and like attack speed with one-handed weapon. It's like it doesn't really make much sense. So like those are really cheap on PoE trade. Other than that, let's talk about ascendancy. So I leveled this character. This was an auto bomber that I converted. It used to be a assassin, and I got it to level 94. And then what I did is I switched it to a saboteur. So because like leveling as miner is like really slow. So the nodes that you get are explosive expert is just penetration, and you get 10% of fizz as fire. Glacial Cascade is it's a fizz to cold conversion spell, so you get some benefit here. And then like if you do like Uber Lab and stuff, I guess like traps and mines, maybe that helps you a little bit, sure. Other than that, blinding assault, this is actually pretty good. Like you'll be surprised at how much this actually blinds enemies. And like, I mean, movement speed, LE damage, nothing much to say here, but this is like for enemies that have attacks, oh man, it's basically it'll save your life a lot of the time. And then bomb specialist, so 2 additional mines. The AoE is pretty nuts. So if you have 11 mines, right, that's 88% increased AoE. And I think that's like a huge part of why you don't even need the AoE gem, because when it all stacks up, it's huge. It's got good coverage. And demolition specialist, so mine laying speed if you've detonated one recently, damage if you detonated a mine recently, and 20% to place an additional mine, so getting to maximum stacks faster. The great thing about this is like the strategy that sometimes you use if you really want min-max is, let's say you're in a Chayula breach, right? And you're at the, and Zana is like the portal to enter Chayula, and she's already like engaged. What you do is like you place a mine, right? And then you detonate it, and then instantly you go into the thing. So because you've detonated instantly, now the next ones you place, and then like, totem, it'll do more damage, and you are faster, much faster. And so that's a strategy you can do there, but that's like really min-maxing. You don't have to do that. You're gonna find that the damage from Glacial Cascade is like it's really nuts. I don't think it'll get nerfed though, because the mapping is like so bad, or at least to me it feels so bad. Other than that, what is there to say? Oh, I think they like fixed this recently. I think that like this used to maybe not work correctly or something, because you get a lot of power charges now. So don't worry about this. This blast cascade, you will be at pretty much full power charges whenever you're fighting. So excellent note there. Other than that, final thoughts. Leveling. I level as hooves, of course, and then I don't recommend leveling as a miner. Level as something else, and then change your ascendancy in normal labyrinth. Okay, that's like the best way to go about it. Yeah, that's about it, and it's super easy. One thing I will say is the muscle memory it takes to get used to mines will take a day or so. It like if you're coming over from a fast clear build, a vol build, any attack builds, it's gonna be pretty brutal when you first start playing mines, and you have to like deal with like the mana, the positioning, the clunkiness, the detonating. When do I detonate? When do I get out of the way? It took me about a day. Like when I first started playing, I like forgot what my hotkeys were, and I died like all the time. And now with Shaper, I never died of Shaper. Other bosses, Mortal at Zulu. You one shot Mortal at Zulu phases, so you never die to her. And yeah, that's about it. I mean, it's a good build overall for bossing. And if you guys have any questions, you can either ask me on my stream or, post in the YouTube comments, and maybe I'll get to it there. All right. Thanks, guys. I hope you guys enjoy the build, and that was my thoughts on it.